It was just another quiet evening in the wealthy suburbs, the kind where silence felt expensive. Cars gleamed in driveways, lawns looked trimmed to perfection, and the golden glow from mansion windows whispered of comfort and luxury. But at the edge of this polished world stood a young woman, shivering, hungry, and clutching a torn bag that carried everything she had left. Her clothes were faded, her face pale, and yet, her eyes, they carried something powerful, a quiet dignity that refused to die. As the rain began to fall harder, she walked up the marble steps of the biggest house on the street. She hesitated, trembling before pressing the bell. When the door opened, she whispered, voice cracking, "Can I clean your house for a plate of food?" The man at the door, tall, composed, wearing a sleek suit, froze. For a moment, the world seemed to stop. His jaw tightened, his eyes widened in disbelief. Because standing before him, soaked and starving, was someone he never thought he'd see again, the girl who once saved his life. Years ago, before the world called him a millionaire, Ethan Gray was just a reckless young man with nothing figured out. He had no fortune, no fame, only a stubborn dream and a broken car on a rainy highway. That night, when no one stopped to help, it was her, a simple girl named Lily, who had pulled over. She didn't know him. She had no reason to help. Yet she gave him her umbrella, walked miles to bring him gas, and made sure he reached home safely. He had never forgotten her kindness. But life moved fast, and success came even faster. Within a few years, he became one of the youngest real estate tycoons in the city. He often thought of her, wondered where she was, if she was happy, but never saw her again. Until now. Lily didn't recognize him at first. Her eyes were too tired, her stomach too empty. "Sir, please," she murmured, looking down. "I'll mop, I'll wash dishes, anything. I haven't eaten in 2 days." Ethan swallowed hard, fighting the knot in his throat. "Lily?" he said softly. Her head lifted, confusion first, then disbelief. "How do you know my name?" He smiled faintly, though his heart felt like it might break. "You once helped a stranger on a stormy night. That stranger was me." Ethan took her inside, wrapping her in a warm blanket as his chef prepared a meal. When the food arrived, Lily hesitated, as if afraid to touch it. "Eat," Ethan said gently. "No work needed." Tears filled her eyes as she whispered, "No one has ever treated me this kindly since my parents died." Over dinner, Ethan learned that life had been cruel to her. She lost her job when the cafe she worked at shut down. Her landlord evicted her, and with no family left, she'd been living in a shelter, until even that closed down. Yet through it all, she never begged. She offered work for food. Dignity before desperation. That night, when she finally fell asleep on the guest room bed, Ethan stood by the door, watching quietly. For the first time in years, he felt something stronger than success, purpose. The next morning, Lily awoke to the smell of pancakes and coffee. She found Ethan in the kitchen, sleeves rolled up, flipping pancakes himself. "You cook too?" she asked with a small smile. He laughed. "Only when I want someone to smile." As days passed, Lily stayed at the house, cleaning, cooking, and slowly regaining her strength. She laughed again, hummed while sweeping, and sometimes helped Ethan's staff organize charity donations. Ethan noticed how her kindness changed the mood of everyone around her. His mansion, once silent and cold, now felt like home. But one evening, Lily came to him holding a small paper envelope. "Mr. Gray," she said, her voice steady, "I think it's time I leave. You've done enough. I can't stay here forever." Ethan frowned. "And go where?" "I found a small job at a diner," she said softly. "It's not much, but it's honest. I'll find a room nearby." He looked at her, admiration mixing with fear. He didn't want her to leave. Not just because she reminded him of humanity in a world obsessed with wealth, but because he realized something deeper: he cared for her. Still, he respected her choice. "If that's what you want, I'll drive you there," he said quietly. The following morning, as they reached the diner, Ethan saw the building: old, cracked walls, flickering signboards. The owner, an elderly man, greeted Lily warmly but coughed heavily, struggling to stand. Ethan's sharp eyes noticed the place barely ran. He stepped aside, thinking. 2 weeks later, Lily was cleaning tables when the same old man walked in with tears in his eyes. "Lily," he said, voice shaking, "a man came in today." He bought the entire diner. But he didn't shut it down, he said it's yours now. Lily froze. Mine? The man nodded. He said it's payment, for a kindness from long ago. Lily ran outside, heart pounding, and there he was, waiting by his car. Ethan smiled softly. You gave me hope when I had nothing. Now it's my turn. Her eyes glistened. You didn't have to. I did, he interrupted. Because the world needs more people like you, Lily. People who remind us that kindness never goes unnoticed. Months passed, and the diner became a community hub, feeding the homeless, offering part-time jobs to struggling mothers, and serving free meals every Sunday. And though Ethan remained busy with his empire, he visited every week, sitting quietly in his corner booth, watching Lily light up the room with laughter and warmth. One evening, she brought him a cup of coffee and said with a teasing smile, You never told me why you froze that night when I asked to clean your house. He looked up, eyes soft. Because that night, I realized the richest man in the world was standing before me, asking only for a plate of food. She smiled, tears glimmering. Then I guess we're both richer now. And as the sun dipped beyond the city skyline, the two of them sat there, the man who had everything and the woman who gave meaning to it all, reminding the world that kindness, once given, always finds its way home.